Hi everyone, so as you guys know, I've been making YouTube videos since 2009, I believe. I had to get rid of a bunch of the earlier videos because I had shown a few things that were a little bit private and I received a threat. And I still haven't gotten around to reviewing everything, but I thought I'd make a video to discuss some of my recent hobbies and other interests because recently, for an unknown reason, I have been bleeding a lot of connections online. At last count, I have lost 18 Facebook friends, and my YouTube subscriptions are disappearing as well by the dozens. And even my, at first it was only on social media, but lately I would see former friends just out in public, and I would call out their name and they would not even look at me or pretend not to know me or even give me a dirty look, and I am a little bit puzzled about what is going on. I can't think of anything recently that I have done differently, so maybe there's been a little bit of a misunderstanding, but it gives me a chance to introduce myself, especially in terms of what I'm doing socially. So as you guys know, I've been writing computer games since December 8, 2011, and I started writing the computer games because my grandpa had passed away. I was trying to find something to cope with that. I'm really excited that the anniversary of my computer games is coming up. It's going to be 7 years in a few months. I at the time when I started the computer games, I was just wrapping up my PhD thesis when I got the news that Grandpa had passed away, and I was already almost done with my thesis, and I seized up for 3-4 days. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was just on my computer, just writing a computer game. I didn't even know why I was writing that computer game. I had when I was in college, when I had written a very trivial computer game for a class assignment, and then all of a sudden 5 years later I'm thinking I can improve this to become world championship level. I don't know why. I think I was trying to take my mind off of Grandpa passing away. And before I knew it, I was going to a computer game contest, and it was the third strongest computer game in the world, for Othello at least. That's that. So that's one of my ongoing hobbies. My other one is viewing outer space. Let me see if I can get a recent picture that I have for you guys. I can't really show the camera because I'm using the camera to record this video, obviously. This is a... So I have a picture of Mars in opposition, I believe. It's going to take a few moments to load. But I started viewing outer space earlier. Oh, here we are. This is the full moon with Mars. I don't think it was in opposition at that moment, because if it were, it would be near the full moon. But I shot this near Redmond, if I remember correctly. And I started viewing outer space and taking pictures of outer space during the 2017 solar eclipse. Well, actually, I did the transit of Venus in 2012. It wasn't very professional at the time. I was at a job interview in San Francisco at the time when the transit of Venus just happened to come by. And I hope to see the next one. It's in 2117. I don't know why. I feel confident that I'll someday view it, and I'll be talking to my great-great-grandkids about 2012 when I last viewed it. Anyways, I think it's been my recent space viewing that has driven away some of my friends. Not all of them. I've been viewing it for a year and a half now. And what else did I view this past year? I know I viewed a lot of things this year because there were a lot of interesting. See, I never knew how to look for Saturn, but I got lucky this year because Saturn appeared in opposition around the same time as the full moon, so it gave me a little bit of a guide to where to look for it. And so I saw Saturn. In a couple of days, we're going to have Uranus in opposition. It's going to be next to the full moon as well. Although the full moon might make it a little bit harder to see Uranus. I'm not sure about that. I have a telescope and a camera that can. The telescope can go up to 300x magnification. I'm not sure how that will go because of the full moon. At least I'll know where to look for it, but I'm not sure if it will blind out Uranus. What else did I do? I tried to look for Neptune. I got a picture of the stars that were supposed to be around Neptune, but I couldn't see Neptune. There was, or maybe when you zoom in that far, my camera does 50x. All you get is a bunch of blur. So maybe Neptune is hidden in there somewhere. What else have I been doing recently? Mars, Venus. I haven't seen Mercury yet. The problem is I live in a city, and Mercury is always very low near the horizon. There's always going to be buildings and things in the way of seeing Mercury. Sometimes I get really nice cloud formations, and see, there are a bunch of people who think the Earth is flat. So cloud formation pictures probably don't offend as many people as the space pictures. There are literally people who tell me that I followed the news when 2 years ago Cassini ended its mission. In April 2017, Cassini flew into the gap between the rings of Saturn and the planet itself. And then in September, it made one close flyby of Titan and then dived into Saturn. And some people literally believe that it's all a big movie and that it was an expensive, like, $8 billion movie that we made for no apparent reason. I mean, it'd be a nice movie even if we spent the $8 billion on it. I don't think I would be too opposed to it. So I don't know what they're talking about, but it's not a movie. We actually went to Saturn. Hopefully one day, a human will go to Saturn. I want to go to the moon Enceladus. So I love Yellowstone National Park, and I think Enceladus is just Yellowstone on another planet. Anyways, what else have I been doing recently? This is a rock that I collected while I was on vacation in Montana a year and a half ago. I got the idea of picking up a rock every time I go on vacation from the idea of sample return missions. When we go, we only have samples from the moon now. We haven't returned anything from Mars or Jupiter or any of the moons of Saturn. I wonder how we will return samples from Jupiter. It would just be a gas, it would be hydrogen. That wouldn't be very interesting. But maybe Saturn, we could, or Enceladus, we could get a chunk of ice and somehow keep it frozen, and there might be life in it. Part of the reason we had to crash Cassini into Saturn was that we didn't want to contaminate any life forms on the moons of Saturn. Anyways, what else has been going on? One thing I haven't found time to do because my work schedule is so scattered is I used to love to walk long distances. I would call them pilgrimages. When I was living with my family, we lived in a suburb of Pittsburgh called Murraysville, and I would go on these long 20 or 30 mile walks like at least every few months. Something would inspire me, or I would get stressed out and I'd just want to go out and walk. See, when I was I took my first walk when I was 16 years old. My mom used to stress me out over trivial things. I think now that she's gotten older, she no longer has the energy to do this anymore. But you see, I moved away to college, and a few years after that, I was 21 at this point, and I would go home. See, when I was living on my own, I had no problems doing laundry. But I would go home, my mom would complain that I never do laundry. And the reason is that she would get so anxious about laundry. She would see one piece that needed, even if I just kicked off my socks, she would be anxious to go wash them. We would literally run a whole washing machine over a pair of socks. Because she was anxious about it, and I don't mind it. Yes, it's a waste of water, it's a waste of electricity, it's hers to waste, I didn't like it. I love the environment, and I didn't really like it, and, but I put up with it, but then she would complain that I don't do laundry, and, I'm not gonna wash a pair of socks. Even if it's her water and electricity, I just don't want to bother with it. I got computer games to write, and I have I have space to view. I want to someday go to Saturn. Don't you think I should look at Saturn before I go there? So I would go out on these 20 or 30-mile walks just to clear my head sometimes, and I would head to I would head to the University of Pittsburgh, where I had a friend who was living around there. That's 20 miles right there. I would stay the night at his house, and then I would continue into downtown Pittsburgh, and sometimes continue from there. One time I made it all the way to the border of Pennsylvania with West Virginia. I just wanted to be able to brag that I had crossed the state border on my feet. And then I headed back, and it spent like a week on the road, and my parents were just so upset. It was an adventure for me, I had to find somewhere to pack sleeping bag and just sleep, and my parents were just really upset, and but it was a good chance to clear my head. And one time after I lost my car, I had a car accident 2 years ago when I was living in a apartment in somewhere between Redmond and Bellevue, and I had a backgammon tournament that I wanted to attend, and it was in Renton. It was 16 miles away, and I walked there, and I went to the tournament, and I took the bus back though. But I walked there. I spent a night sleeping in a sleeping bag outside, and I just need to clear my head. I just had the car accident. I was really stressed out. Anyways, I don't know why these things are, aside from space maybe offending people who think that we're wasting money on it. I can't see why all of a sudden within a couple weeks I've lost 18 friends on Facebook. I don't know if it's a cultural issue. Is it a Facebook purge kind of month or anything like that? I'm not sure. So I'm making this video out there. If there's somebody I need to apologize to, I would appreciate if you could let me know, and I'll see what I can do to make things good. If not, if this is the first you've heard of these hobbies of mine and you're curious about it, I'd like to hear as well. So this is more of a general video. Thanks for watching.